Okay, so let's open the data binding. Let's see which ones I need. I need the linked parameter name and the linked element name. So let's create those. Turn name. Okay, that then should be good to go. So the element connections is closed. We can run this test case. And the validation failed. Okay, so the actual value is our source element. That is in fact what we expect, but the Ranorex report here is saying expected is empty string. So this must be related to our configuration somewhere. Let's take a look at data binding. Oh, of course, I haven't filled in the values yet. So Rx source element. And saved number. Okay, run the test case again. So it's now opened the element connections and checking. This should be fairly smooth. Okay, closing the card. It's not reporting issues. Yeah, it succeeded this time. Okay, let's go back into the element connections app. And in fact, currently we've validated the same thing we've set up. So the element connections based on the destination element, but element connections go both ways. So we can also validate it from the source element. So what do we need to do? We need to open the source element for that and check that the saved number is linked to the Rx destination element and the remote saved number. So we'll add the reverse check. I'll also add this in the read element connection. So I'll just duplicate the open element parameters and validate parameters. And then I'll need some additional data binding. So need the source linked element name and the source linked parameter name. So that's Rx destination element. And what typo here? Remote saved number. Okay, we can't bind them because they're bound to the first one. Okay, link parameter, that's not right. This should be the element and then the parameter. Okay, let me just quickly check the open element parameters. Okay, so destination element button, I've hard-coded this one to go to the Rx destination element. So I'll also need to replace this by a variable. So also in Ranorex paths, you can introduce variables, and what you need to do is select some piece of text. Typically, you'll do this on an attribute. So you'll remove the text, remove the single quotes, and type $, and then the name of the parameter value you want to use, or the parameter name you want to use. So in this case, I'll call this element expander, something like that. Okay, and then I'll also rename the repository item to element expander. Okay, let's save this. And I expect some additional unbound variables are showing up. Yes, also in my create element connection. So I'll go into data binding, linked element name, linked parameter name. Expand element. That's the Rx destination element for creation. Okay, so the element expander, maybe I'll move this one up just for readability, so we have the same order in our list of variables as the order they are used in the test. That's always handy and makes it easier to debug. Okay, and then under read element connection, let's do the same. Go into data binding. I'll need to add 2. So I'll call it element expander destination and elements expander source. So basically they have the same value, so I could just reuse this linked element name, but it's kind of tricky because you may make some mistakes. So I'll just use separate variables for these. Okay, and to make things more readable, I'll again put them in the same order they are used. Okay, so element expander 1, element expander 2. Okay. Yes, if I close and reopen, both should be closed again. Indeed, so I can run my test. Oh, I want to run the read and select the test case. So data binding destination element. Okay, in fact, I'll just copy this one over to be sure. Okay, and run the selected test case again. Okay, so it's checking the destination element, and now it should open up the source element and check that one. Okay, so there's still an error here. It's attribute equal. Okay, let's inspect it in SPY. Oh, I see. It's still using the remote saved number, but we want to use the saved number in this case. Okay, so let's see how we can edit that one. I'll abort the test run again. So we want this text we've used to be saved number. Let's see how that one works again. So in the validate element connection, so we want to element combo box on the parameter 3 item. And we've hard-coded our text there previously. So let's replace this with selected parameter or connection parameter. I'll call it connection parameter. Connection parameter name. So we're not looking for an ID here. Okay, and then I'll need to update all tests again. Okay, unbound variables have been added. Connection parameter name, I need to add it for everything. Name on creation, this is the remote saved number. I can just add it to all 3 of these, and that's the first one that will actually be used, so I'll move it all the way up. Okay, and then in the readback, we'll have two connection parameter name, destination and source. Okay, move this one up right under the element expander, and then connection parameter source is just save the number. That's the second one. This is the first one, and I'll move it just under the expander. Okay. Let's just quickly check the connection. I've moved it all the way to the top, but it should be right after the expander. Okay. And now let's run the read element connection again. Okay, checking the second part. I hope this should now be okay. Okay, closing the card, and it succeeded. So we have two-way validation working perfectly now.